I'd like to, dig in and start with some general background questions on the ISCA, just to make sure our audience here has a general base knowledge, because obviously you've got organizations, previous organizations like ISCA Labs that was very well known, and I believe I personally am very familiar with the ISCA, but I'd love a little bit of background if you can provide some.
Sure, absolutely. So ICSA is actually a independent division of Verizon. It was acquired by Verizon a few years ago, but as a company, they've been around for 30 plus years. I think 1989 is when they were established. They're known for their testing and certification processes. They usually go around and do certification on security, compliance, the reliability of the appliances, the performance, speed and feeds, and things of that nature. They've been in the industry for a long time, and they do cover everything from VPN to SD-WAN appliances to firewall to advanced threat detection, even email security, you name it.
Okay.
More than likely they have a certification for that appliance.
So it's really, really comprehensive. And I'm sure firewalls is something they've probably tested since just about the beginning of a time, but it's obviously probably evolved, the same way that firewalls have evolved over time.
Yeah, they're actually well known for their firewall testing, because obviously firewall was one of the first appliances that came out.
Right.
So they really started from there and expanded into other areas.
Okay. So SonicWall, so kind of shifting to the SonicWall specific piece of the certification. So SonicWall's certification is very specifically tied to the Advanced Threat Defense cert. Is that correct?
That's correct. So that's really another way of saying a sandboxing technology. So ICSA Labs Advanced Threat Defense is really the test and certification that they do for the sandboxing technologies that are out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we can talk about the significance of the cert, take a step back a little bit. What in the recent release of the mid-year SonicWall threat report kind of points to the significance of this particular certification? Okay.
Yeah. So SonicWall recently released a threat report for the first half of 2021. And if you look at that report, there's an interesting pattern that emerges. If you look at the overall malware, the volume has gone down. There's actually a 22% decrease in the overall malware volume. But if you look at the individual attack vectors, whether it's intrusion attempt, whether it's the IoT attacks, encryption threats, everything else has gone up. Significant in that threat is the ransomware attack. There was a 151% increase on the overall malware attacks that was registered in the first 6 months. And specific to that is the fact that there was a 185% increase in the US alone. UK registered 144% increase. And if you look at EMEA, Europe, as a whole, there's a 234% increase in the overall malware attack. So what that really means is that the era of spray and pray is basically over. You got very sophisticated adversaries out there, sometimes backed by state nations, that are coming after you and specifically targeting you. The implication there is that you can no longer go back to your standard, antivirus solution that's signature-based and hope that it would detect the malware that's coming at you. You need to have something specific that's able to detect zero-day attacks and targeted attacks at you. And that's where the AI engines built into some of the sandboxes come into play.
Okay, so we're dealing with a certification that is specifically built for auditing and certifying products built to detect zero-day attacks. And that is where, just to your point, and as the results of the mid-year threat report kind of deliver, there is very little that is not zero-day. It's so easy to create zero-day anymore.
Yeah. So if you look at the methodology that ICSA uses, they're looking at both known attack and unknown zero-day attacks. Okay, so it makes sure that you're protected against the known stuff, so they don't use older attacks or malware to penetrate your environment. But they also look at the 0 days and brand new malwares in order to make sure that there's nothing new and unknown that comes through and passes through your security defense system.
Perfect. Clearly important right now.